on the road. Back here on KJAgRadio.com at the 140 Conference, State of Now, Small Town 2012. Simon Salt joins me. Simon, how are you, sir?
I'm great, thank you.
Now, I like your T-shirt. Did you have to con them out of that shirt, or did they just go ahead and say, yeah?
No, what happened was I was here in Wichita a few months ago at an event, and I was just arrived back at the airport to fly home, and in one of the display cases they had this T-shirt which says Salt Rocks. And so I went to the gift store in the airport and said, oh, I want to buy that T-shirt. And they said, no, we don't sell them. You have to go to the museum to buy it in Hutchinson. And I'm like, well, I'm just about to get on a plane, so this isn't going to work for me. So I looked them up online, and sure enough, there they were on Twitter. So I reached out to them and said, hey, look, here's the situation. My name is Simon Salt. I actually come from a line of English salt miners. That's why we're called Salt. And I would love your T-shirt. And so they said, sure, email us, we'll figure it out. And we did. We emailed back and forth, figured out sizing and colours and all the rest of it. And within a couple of days, they had mailed me a T-shirt. And so I proudly, in fact, this is my Facebook profile picture. I actually have this. It's a great shirt.
That's cool. Now, talk to me a little bit about your presentation. It wasn't all over the map. It had one central theme. The starving artist, basically.
Yeah, so the starving artist is a concept that I've been working on for a while, in that we tend to think of the starving artist as financially challenged, and that's how we tend to use the concept. But really I think of artists as being starved in lots of different ways. You can be starved of inspiration, you can be starved of support, of outlets, of self-belief. And a lot of those are challenges that we face.
Yep.
And so a starving artist isn't necessarily somebody who isn't making it financially. They may well be able to pay their bills, but they struggle in other areas. And as people who either associate with, or who are artists, or live with them, there's lots of different ways that you can help your starving artist from not starving.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different things you can do. And one of the things, like I said downstairs, is if you know somebody who is an artist, who produces work, and most of us at the level we're at, we're not exhibiting in New York City galleries. We're doing our thing in our own small town. One of the easiest things you can do, go buy something from them. Or if you can't afford their artwork, maybe they are at the $300, $500. Well, then take a picture and post it on Facebook. Say, hey, look what my friend does. You should buy their artwork. Help promote them. There's lots of ways you can do that, in terms of, for example, providing support for the starving artists.
Well, that's cool. Now, you mentioned you had a movie quote that you gave out.
Yes.
Kind of give me a little bit of just the whole history on that and where you got it from and all that.
Yeah, so that was to my point of seeking inspiration everywhere you are at all times, being open to being inspired. The movie was Sucker Punch, which is a graphic novel kind of shoot 'em up movie, not something you would necessarily think would be inspirational for creative artists.
Yeah.
But the quote at the end was actually about being able to fight your own demons.
Yeah.
And really that's what I was inspired by. I thought, this is great. And I changed the wording slightly to be more focused on artists and creatives. But, that's where my inspiration came from in that particular moment. I saw it. I had no idea I was going to be speaking here when I saw that.
Yeah.
But I wrote the quote down, and I knew that at some point that was going to be useful to me.
Yeah.
In either speaking or writing or something, it would help me. And so that's what I meant when I was talking about in the session about being inspired. You have to be really open all the time and just listen and look and feel the things around you and see how those trigger what you're trying to do.
That's cool. Now you did some audience participation.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all too easy, and that's one of the things I've seen here. A lot of the speakers have done that, is reached out and pulled the audience up on stage with them, at least virtually. And I think that's really important to do when you're doing these kind of sessions. It's not appropriate in every setting, and I speak a lot of different events. And in some events you can get away with it, and events like this are great where you can. When you say to the audience, stand up for me, they will stand up and they will join in.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to do, because then you're making an emotional connection with them.
That's cool. That is cool. Now, what do you have coming up? Do you have any? Because I get the impression that you speak all over the damn place.
Yeah, next week I'm in Washington, D.C. speaking at an educational conference.
That's cool.
Doing 4 one-hour sessions over 2 days in
Wow.
in Washington, D.C. at an educational conference. So
That's cool.
totally different again, and that's on mobile marketing. So
Yeah.
as I said to Becky, I speak a lot at events, but it's usually marketing, social media, digital, mobile. So when I get the opportunity to come and do something like this, it's great for me because it recharges my batteries, and I
Yeah.
get to hear people talking about other topics and really connect with them, which is great for me.
That's cool. Now we find you. How do we find you on Twitter?
At Inkslinger, which is INCSLINGERS.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And Facebook is.
Facebook is Simon Salt, LinkedIn is Simon Salt, but every other social media platform from 500 pixels with my photos to pretty much everywhere else is Inkslinger.
That's cool.
Yep.
Is there a specific reason behind
Inkslinger? Yeah. So the old spelling INK Slinger is an old English word for writer, which is what I am.
That's cool.
I spend most of my time writing for or to businesses, so I changed the K to a C to make ink.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciated chatting with you. We're going to get more from the Small Town 2012 here on KJ Radio.